Hey guys, how the hell are you? Welcome to the first video and hopefully a new series. This is going to be iFAQs, infrequently asked questions. So basically just any question that you guys have, just throw it down in the comments section below and who knows, you might actually see it get answered right here in one of these videos. So without further ado, the first question. What happened to your ears, dude? That's the first question. Alright, well, honestly, quite a long time ago, probably maybe 2004, I want to say, I decided to finally get my ears pierced, and rather than get them pierced at like the smallest diameter possible, I got them pierced at an 8 gauge, which is actually relatively thick. And since then, I just kind of expanded a little bit slowly but surely over time, and now I've got these plugs in my ears. How do you like the PRS 7-string model? Honestly, I think it's really cool, and I like the fact that PRS at pretty much any price point is still delivering the goods, especially these days. Like, I kind of feel like when they first were putting out imported instruments, they weren't very awesome quality. And I think they kind of realized that too, so they did something about it. As a result, I think kind of, all the SEs have their own certain enjoyable characteristics about them. But the 7, when I first checked one out at a NAMM show, I actually thought it was a pretty well crafted instrument. And, I would definitely love the opportunity to actually check one out for you guys. How many guitars do you have? Do you have a Dingwall bass? I think you're rich. I don't ask because I don't think it's a proper question. Honestly, it is a proper question, and to be perfectly frank with you, no, I'm not rich. I think that I live a decent existence because of what I do for a living, but I'm definitely not rich. I just save up, and occasionally I buy stuff and sell stuff, and at some point I just kind of end up with enough money to actually afford something I want that I intend on keeping. But to answer your other questions, yes, I do have a Dingwall bass, and as far as how many guitars I have, I don't even remember. Let's go around the room. 1, and this one is currently for sale. 2, and this one will never be for sale. 3, and this one is currently for sale, but I'm also intending on doing a review on it shortly. 4, and because of the current situation with COVID-19, this one is currently for sale, but if I go back to work anytime soon, then this one will be off of the chopping block. 5, and this beautiful beast will never be for sale. 6, 7, and this one will never be for sale. 8, and this one's undecided. 9, 10, and 11 in the rack. 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 up against this wall here. And 17 currently on the workbench. You are an awesome guitar player. What bands have you played in that I can listen to? Okay, so I released my debut solo EP under the name Voided, called A Profound Disdain for Life. The link is in the description of this video, and a lot of you guys have already bought it. A lot of you guys have already been streaming it like crazy on all the major streaming services, and I thank you greatly for that. Another project that you can listen to hear some of my playing, for those of you guys that are familiar with kind of the gent-core-ish band Divicious from Portland, Oregon, their singer, Mad Alice, she has a solo project that she does from time to time, and I kind of helped ghostwrite and perform on all the tracks on her last solo record from a few years back. How do you even come up with such killer intro tracks? Just hearing you play is literally a cure for erectile dysfunction. Cool, that's awesome. So, usually, what I try to do is I try to sit down with the instrument or the product, whatever it might be, and I just kind of go at it and hope that inspiration hits. That being said, if maybe I'm just having some writer's block or something, then I've got a few go-to tracks that I can just quickly, like, okay, I remember how to play this, so let me just record that just so that I've got something. But usually I try to come up with something interesting and original every single time. Sometimes what helps too is utilizing various drum loops and MIDI patterns that are on my superior drummer, and hoping that I can kind of write something around those patterns so that I've got something new and interesting. So, yeah. Next question. Holy shit, is that the "his name was Marshall" boy meme you have hanging off your desk? Yes, it is. I had a shirt that was given to me that actually had that meme on the shirt, and through putting it through the wash one too many times, the screening on the front just came off. So as a result, now that meme is hanging very, very proudly off of my desk there. What do you think about Claas Guitars? For example, Leviathan's 7/8-string baritone, like Dennis Kaiser's instrument. So I definitely do have an opinion on this. I like Claas Guitars. Now, the thing about Claas Guitars is that Alex has come a long way, and we have to understand that with regards to that brand. I think Alex is very self-aware. He understands that a lot of the stuff that he was doing back in the day was maybe not the best choice as a business owner and as a luthier in particular. And so he's made steps to try to be putting out better and better and better quality instruments over the past few years. One thing that I really love that he did is he understood that there was issues with like the fretwork and perhaps the way that his wood was being treated and that sort of thing. So he put out an open call out there a couple years back saying, hey, if you've got one of my instruments from years gone by and it's exhibiting any sort of issues, send it in, let me take care of it for you. And I think that was a very, very smart decision on his part that shows that he's standing by his brand, he's standing by his product, he's even willing to do something about it if in years gone by the product was subpar. Although aesthetically they're not for everybody, I really, really like them. I really dig the way that they look, and I don't know. I just, something about the way that they look is very, very aesthetically pleasing to me. It's just something where I like the instruments, and I really, really hope that he elevates that company and that product to a level that meets and exceeds a lot of the top dog luthiers out there. So I look forward to seeing what he does. Can we please get an in-depth review of the Hapas? Okay, so this is kind of a slightly complicated answer. Let me see if I can squeeze this out rather quickly. With regards to this instrument, this is my custom Hapas 8-string, which is known as Columbus because this is the first Hapas guitar that ever made it across the Atlantic. And I still love this instrument very, very much, and there will be a My Personal Guitars episode that is coming in the very near future. Now, the reason why I never did a review of this instrument previously is because there are definitely some things that, knowing what I know now, I would have probably done differently when I placed the order for this instrument. But at the time, I was kind of impulsive and desperate because when I placed the order for this thing, 8-string fan fret instruments were not the norm. They were not something that you saw very often. So had I waited just like another year and a half, 2 years, they were kind of all over the place by that point. But this was something where I was just desperately looking for something with these features. I placed my order. I'm happy that I own it. But there are a handful of QC concerns that we have on this instrument. And I never felt right doing a video about it because I've actually hung out with these guys several times now. Not just at the Winter NAMM show recently, but when my wife and I went to Germany to just kind of bound around the country and hang out a little bit, there was a day in particular where we just kind of spent the day in Berlin bounding around with Robert and with Andreas, and some awesome hangs. I had the time of my life. It was fantastic. These dudes are super cool, super awesome to be pals with and to be buddies with. And that goes for really anyone that's been associated with them. Pavel, Simon, really anyone that's been working with Hapas has been super duper cool. So at the time, I didn't really feel right to call out anything on this instrument. Now I feel like it's something that's a little bit more comfortable because after playing recent instruments at the Winter NAMM show, I can without a doubt attest to the fact that the guys at Hapas have only gotten better at making guitars. Those instruments were fantastic, so incredible, to the point where if someone were to ever make me an offer for this thing, I don't think I would ever sell it. But if someone were to ever make me an offer on this thing to the point where I would consider it, you know what? I can actually definitively say all I would do is just turn around and be like, hey, Robert, build me a new one. Because the choices of materials, the choices of building techniques that they are doing now, so much better, and the instruments definitely show that. Not just in terms of the build quality, but also in terms of who's playing them too. Because a lot of the guys that play Hapas don't exactly get them for free, don't exactly get deals. They just really, really like them, so they buy them outright. I know that's not the same for everybody, but I think that's a great testament to how awesome those instruments actually are. What do you do for a living? I've been working in retail for pretty much the last 21 years of my life, with a small exception of 9 months that I worked at a sign maker. But for the last 10 years, I've been in retail management at various different levels. Department managers at department stores, assistant store managers. But yeah, that's what I do for a living. I make a decent living doing it, certainly enough of one that at the moment, leaving it to just do YouTube full time is definitely not in the cards. And not only do I like what I do, I'm kind of good at it. That being said, definitely willing to entertain other options out there, especially with all that's going on right now with COVID-19. And truthfully, I've been out of work for the past 3.5 weeks now. So I'm going a little stir crazy. I'm definitely open to options. Hey man, could you tell what is the drum device you are using? Thanks. Absolutely. The drum software that I use is TuneTrack Superior Drummer 3. The reason why I use it is because I just really love the tones. To me, it's something that's super easy for me to work with. And it's also something where, I feel comfortable with at this point. I've tried a few other drum samplers, and to me, there's just enough of a learning curve that I don't really think that I could stray away from TuneTrack. But at the same time, they keep coming out with these great Superior Drummer expansion packs to the point where I'm like, I kind of don't want to try anything else. That Death and Darkness pack that they came out with last year, for example, is easily the best pack that they've ever done. And I'm just really happy to be using it. I think that it's really cool how they get everything sounding like superhuman and just, very, very thick and fat and fucking metal. So, yeah, I use Superior Drummer 3. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much. Hopefully this becomes a regular thing. Remember, if you've got a question, comment, concern, drop it in the section below. Who knows? Maybe this will become a regular thing. Maybe your question will get answered. So, all right. Thank you so much. And keep tuning back for more metal-oriented guitar content. And take it easy.